Welcome everybody. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Houston Peace and Justice Center yearly Peacemaker ceremony.
Oh wait, this is not on.
This is on. You know, we're doing this stuff on Zoom for the first time. So every so often we get a few glitches here and there. This is the first time the Peacemakers Award will be done virtually. But anyhow, Houston Peace and Justice Center's mission is to provide peace, education, activism, training, and collaboration, resources for individuals, families, and organizations throughout the greater Houston area to build a just and nonviolent community. And as we get our audio set together, we'll continue. So, Eileen Adams, we're going to present Eileen Adams. Eileen Adams represents Foods Not Bombs on the Houston Peace and Justice Center board. She works with various 12 Steps programs. She volunteers for the Peace Camp, and for a few years, she was even on the staff. She has always been a positive influence on kids. And I tell you a little joke. Actually, it's not a joke, you know. She actually got kids to sit down and meditate. Think about 5-year-olds sitting down for some time to meditate. That's the kind of woman that she is, and maybe she'll do that with us too. Who knows? She volunteers. She does a whole lot. She's a grandmother. She's a great-grandmother. She's a mother. Of course, if she's a grandmother, she is a mother as well. She's a country and Western singer and a board member of Buckshot Jamboree. And you know what that is? She does her line dancing thing. COVID has kind of slowed her down. This pandemic, she hasn't been able to go out there and dance and sing. She hasn't been able to use her nursing skills at the homes to really keep those elderlies really entertained. But you know what? We have her. So without any further ado, why don't we bring on Eileen Adams, who's going to give us sort of a position of centering. Eileen, welcome aboard.
I'm trying to unmute.
You are. You were. You were unmuted. Now you're muted again. Now you are.
Now I'm unmuted. Okay. Oh my goodness, Egberto, thank you so much. That was a really nice introduction. I do love my homeless people. I do love Peace Camp, and I'm blessed, beyond blessed to be part of this HPJC. So what we're going to start with today is we're going to have a moment of silence for the peacemakers that have left us in this past year. And it's my understanding you will be unmuted, or you can unmute yourself, and you can now call out the names of the
peacemakers. Hear from him tonight at this rally.
That you would like to have.
That's the big question, and that's exactly what Republicans are nervous.
Any takers? Peacemakers that have left us.
Michael Allen.
Yep.
Maria Jimenez.
Okay. Anyone
John
else?
Lewis.
Okay.
Margaret Nosek.
Okay.
Bill Pelkey, Journey of Hope.
Okay.
George Floyd.
Okay. Anybody else?
Dije Vanessa Guillén.
Okay.
Eric James.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Miss Eileen, I'd just like to say thank you for everything and working with Eric James, although he left us to be with the Lord in 2019. But thanks to everybody at Houston Peace and Justice Center.
I love that man.
Thank you, ma'am. We love him.
Man, a tremendous amount. Sorry, somebody just called in. I kind of lost my, Eric loved my vegetable soup. That he loved my vegetable soup. So I remember him fondly and well. So if you'll just join me for a centering moment here, just kind of just lean back and maybe relax just a little bit. And so in the words of a great teacher of mine, his name is Thich Nhat Hanh, this is the meditation that I taught the children. So breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And once again, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. So from the Desiderata, go placidly among the noise and the haste, and remember what peace, and we are Houston Peace and Justice, remember what peace there may be in silence. A few more words I want to share with you. In the midst of hate, I found there was within me an invincible love. In the midst of tears, I found there was within me an invincible smile. In the midst of chaos, I found there was within me an invincible calm. I realized through it all that in the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that makes me happy. For it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me, there is something stronger, something better, pushing right back. And the last thought I want to share with you before Jeff comes to speak is real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. I want to say that again. I think that's a real important quote. Real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. And what that says to me is be here now, wherever I am and whatever I'm doing. Be here, be fully present. And so it is, and bless you all. And Jeff, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Eileen.
Jeff, you're muted.
All right.
There you go. That's good.
I'm muted now. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to keep going, right? I'm good. All right. Let's do it again. Welcome to the Houston Peace and Justice Center's 2020 Zoom Award ceremony. My name is Jeff Reese, and I'm the current president of HPJC. Things are a little different this year, thanks to the COVID virus, which is why we're all here instead of in a banquet room. But one thing that hasn't changed is that there's never been a greater need for peace than now. We're seeing an unprecedented surge in gun violence, hate crimes, pollution, and the greatest income inequality our nation has ever known. Families are fleeing violence caused by our misguided foreign policies are being torn apart at our borders and sent to private prisons funded by our own tax dollars. Our national leaders are stoking the flames of hate, greed, and intolerance. I don't have to tell you who said the following. Everything is connected. We are all caught up in a mutual existence, and what affects one directly affects all indirectly. It's not a question of violence versus nonviolence. It's a question of nonviolence versus non-existence. And the following quote from Joseph Pulitzer kind of sums things up. He says, "I will always fight for progress and reform, never tolerate injustice or corruption, always fight demagogues of all parties, never belong to any party, always oppose privileged classes and public plunderers, never lack sympathy with the poor, always remain devoted to the public welfare, never be satisfied with merely printing news, always be drastically independent, never be afraid to attack wrong, whether by predatory plutocracy or predatory poverty." And that saying kind of reminds us of our new Peace Awards for 2020. And I would like to thank them and all of you who have come here on Zoom. Thank you for joining us to honor them, and most importantly, to everyone together who honors peace and justice. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so instead of boring you with reading more and more of our list of accomplishments, I've prepared a short slide presentation. It's about 7 minutes, and I'll moderate it to help identify and explain a few things. So, Evan, if you will cue the slide presentation that y'all can watch instead of me blathering on and on, we'll go straight to that. Evan, you there? All right, here we go. We'll just start this thing. All right. If anyone has questions, go ahead and chat. You can ask a question to the chat, and I'll try to answer it. And I would like to thank everybody. We put this together last night, so if you don't see your name, it's because it probably came in after last night. So I do apologize, and I will send a thank you note to everybody. I just, we haven't done it just yet. We've initiated the Eric James Memorial Peace Camp Scholarship Fund. And for those that knew Margaret and then Maria, and a special tribute to Michael Allen, who unfortunately also decided to leave us. But this is a kind of also honor that we gave Michael before we knew he was going to go on. And if anybody knows, I think Hank Lamb maybe will know who we could give this to in his place. Dean Becker and David, and there's Hank and Michael. And for those that came last year, there's a few slides here, so maybe you can see your friends and visit that way. But unfortunately, because of the COVID, we're here on Zoom. And a shout out to Constance Gray, who's with Evan right now, and Judge Lena Hidalgo, our last year award winner. Before COVID hit, we went to TBH, and there's Poncho Claus, who made the front page of today's Houston Chronicle. He needs help. And now we go to our accomplishments that we were able to achieve, masks and all, starting in January of the MLK parade. And that's Edna Jones on the left. That's the fundraiser that Roy Zimmerman put on for Peace Camp in February. This is artistic social that we had at Mother Dog Studios, which you'll see behind me on my Zoom thing. This is a super fun site that we also helped out with. And a shout out, Eileen, to Food Not Bombs, and Judith, that they're still feeding the homeless even throughout the pandemic. And that says a lot. This is the protest that Dave Atwood and I went to with Martina Grifaldo, a winner this year. And she's responsible for getting a lot of the attention that came about later on. And of course, the George Floyd protests, which you saw the movie from Ascending Entertainment on. And now we're at the Nicholas Chavez Motorcade for Justice. And again, the Greater Houston Coalition for Justice with Johnny Mata was instrumental in this. That's Leantha Chavez, Nicholas's mom there at the bottom of the screen. And that's at TBH. And that's where it started. That's Johnny and Dr. Muhammad and Tarsha Jackson with a few others and Dave Atwood. And on the right is where his body was found, or we were shot. And this is Edna Jones again. We provided some needed supplies for hurricane relief. And these are different protests that we took place with. And this is a protest at Ted Cruz's house for the TPS immigrants. These are the people whose lives are in danger if they're sent back, and they made a decision to send them back anyway. So we were trying to get Mr. Cruz to change his mind, but I don't know how successful it was. But all you can do is try. And this is a protest at the HPOU building downtown. And this is one of our last things in November, right after the election. It was an anti-fascism protest in front of the federal building again. And that's an image of Donald Trump, just in case, and those are horns. But Samuel Adams says it doesn't take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires in the minds of men. And it all starts with the children. And that is the end of my slide presentation. And so I'm going to pass it on to Evan, who is going to introduce Meals on Wheels.
Come up. Oh, how do I get myself on? Hello, everyone. Hold on, let me get Jeff off of Spotlight here. That's the Spotlight. Okay, I'm talking, but okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Evan. I am the person who sends you emails, amongst other things. Thank you, Jeff, for that amazing slideshow. So I want to take you back to March. A mysterious virus suddenly appeared, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't even have conspiracy theories yet. All we knew was that we needed to buy as much toilet paper as possible. During this time, many of us huddled up in our houses or apartments, but the brave ones kept going out and continued to fight the good fight. And amongst these many, many brave warriors out there, we have decided to present our first local Peacemaker Award to Meals on Wheels. While a lot of us were in quarantine, Meals on Wheels went out to work, volunteering, and making sure our seniors continued to get fed. I'm proud to present the award to a representative of one of the local groups, Carrie Stein. Before we do that, I'm going to share and read the award. So what it says is, Houston Peace and Justice Center recognizes that peace and justice go beyond the grassroots campaigns of political activism, and until basic needs are met, there will be no peace or justice. Therefore, we recognize and commend Meals on Wheels for the organizing and effective use of an army of volunteers bringing nutrition, support, and peace of mind to the homebound, the disabled, and even their pets. For ensuring personal needs are acknowledged and meeting the challenge and enormous needs of the homebound and disabled during the 2020 COVID-19 epidemic. Houston Peace and Justice Center is pleased to honor Meals on Wheels as one of our chosen 2020 local peacemakers. And on that, I will be passing the baton to Carrie Stein. Please unmute yourself, Carrie.
Great. Well, thank you for having me, and what an honor it is to speak. My name is Carrie Stein, like Evan just said, and I'm the program coordinator for Meals on Wheels at the Evelyn Rubenstein Jewish Community Center. I represent one of 9 agencies. Just in the Houston, we all serve different zip codes. The program has been at the J for 31 years. While we each operate independently, our goal is the same, to deliver hot meals to seniors for lunch. They have to be 60 years or older and homebound. Our recipients at the JCC now total 425, the highest in the 3 years that I've been there. The total number of seniors in Houston that get hot meals is now 8,000 recipients. 1 in 4 seniors lives alone. And one of the things that we have at Meals on Wheels across the nation is that it's not just a meal, but we offer a daily wellness check. Many of our clients don't have family or someone else to check in. And so we're the ones putting our eyes on these seniors and making sure that they stay safe and healthy. The purpose of the program is to help seniors stay in their home for longer. And by providing a healthy meal and a daily check-in, we help to prevent our seniors from moving to a more costly living situation, like a nursing home. This saves millions of taxpayers money, and it also helps seniors to stay home and independent where they want to be. This is a surprising fact for you. We can feed a senior for an entire year for the same cost as 1 day in a hospital or 10 days in a nursing home. Back to the big picture, each of the Houston agencies are grant funded, mainly by the Harris County Area Agency on Aging, and the Texas Department of Agriculture also funds a portion of the meals. But each of the 9 agencies in Houston are responsible for acquiring their own grant and private funding. Prior to the pandemic, the JCC Meals on Wheels team delivered every day, Monday through Friday. But since March, we have had to switch over to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday delivery to minimize contact. We've also changed our protocols to mandate masks and include health surveys for staff and for volunteers. Our protocols have become very efficient and we think very safe. And the medical advisory team at the J has approved delivery to resume to every day, Monday through Friday, starting again in January. So this is very exciting. My focus will now be on recruiting more volunteers to fill in the Tuesday, Thursday gap. One of the things that the JCC specifically prides itself on is that we're mainly volunteer-based. Each of the agencies operate a little bit differently. We have 6 paid drivers, and we also have 70 volunteers that come out at least once a week. Over the years, the community has stepped up to help, and the response is that our volunteers continue to have and love seeing their regular recipients because they form special bonds and friendships. So some of the things that we have recently done, we started doing a grocery delivery. We've done 4 since the pandemic started, where we purchase or get donated items like toilet paper, paper towels, soup, other shelf-stable items that we deliver to our seniors who don't have family or don't have access to get groceries. We did acquire some additional funding for this, and we also had an Amazon wish list started where people could just go to the link and donate items, have them sent to the JCC. We also just did a Giving Tuesday campaign where we posted pictures of our clients and recipients together. And the response really was phenomenal. We raised $13,000. And I think it really hit home for our community to see just how many seniors are impacted. We also offer for families to come and deliver meals during the holidays. So we did have a sign up for Thanksgiving, and we'll have another one again in late December when kids are out of school and families can come pick up meals and deliver them to seniors. It's really easy for kids to see how they are helping by just handing somebody a hot meal. We really could not maintain or expand this program without our volunteers. So we truly appreciate the time that they dedicate to this program. We're always looking to expand our volunteer team. And if anyone is interested, you can reach out to me. I will put up my information in the chat box. I'll put my email address in there. And it would be great if you just have any questions or if you want to get in touch with me about volunteering. So thank you again so much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here today.
All right, thank you, Carrie.
Yes, thank you, Carrie.
You're up.
I'm Constance Gray, and I am the past president of Houston Peace and Justice Center. And it is my pleasure today to present another local Peacemaker Award this year to Moms Demand Action Houston area. And it's also my pleasure to introduce Deanna Galindo, the local group coordinator. Sandy Hook got Deanna's attention, but it was the Parkland kids starting their activism that got her involved. And she knew she wanted to do something. So she joined with other mothers here in Houston, and they developed a Moms Demand Action chapter. And it's now a force to be reckoned with here in Houston. There are 6 local groups. And so, Deanna, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to read your citation. It is for your persistent presence in the greater Houston area to bring awareness to the ongoing gun violence and its tragedies, and the need to end the violence that impacts the well-being of all of our citizens, but most particularly our children. For organizing, recruiting, training, and empowering volunteers to help our city reduce senseless deaths by firearms used in senseless violence, particularly against our children. For working in all aspects of the political and civic arenas to ensure that moms everywhere have a voice. It is Houston Peace and Justice Center's privilege to honor Moms Demand Action as a 2020 local peacemaker. Thank you, and Deanna.
Thank you, Constance. On behalf of the Central Houston Group of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, thank you to everyone at the Houston Peace and Justice Center for this award and for your work. Our causes are aligned. We are deeply grateful to be included with others whose remarkable work you're recognizing today, but we're especially glad to receive this award while you also honor Shannon Watts, our inspiring founder of Moms Demand Action. A few of our Houston and Texas volunteers were among the very first to join this tireless gun sense leader nearly 8 years ago when she started this movement. Since then, Moms Demand Action has expanded locally to 6 groups across the greater Houston area and more than 400,000 grassroots supporters across Texas. I joined Moms Demand Action, as Constance said, after the shooting at Parkland High School. It was learning about daily gun violence that pushed me into leadership. While Texas has experienced 3 of the 10 deadliest US mass shootings since 2009, the devastating reality is that more than 3,200 Texans die every year by gun suicides, firearm homicides, and unintentional shootings. Houston is among 50 US cities with the highest number of gun murders. More than 300 people died by gun homicide in Harris County last year, disproportionately affecting our Black and Brown communities. We know that for every person shot and killed, 2 more are wounded. Too many Houston families have been shattered by this violence, which reverberates across our city. And it's not getting better. The surge in gun sales, economic distress, and the social isolation of COVID-19 have exacerbated our long-standing gun violence crisis. With the 97th Texas legislative session a few weeks away, we will focus on measures that can stop gun violence before it happens. States with gun safety laws have lower rates of gun violence rates. Background checks on all gun sales save lives. Disarming domestic abusers save lives. Extreme risk laws save lives. And secure gun storage laws save lives. We can all take action to create a more peaceful future, free from gun violence. What can you do? You can text the word READY to the number 64433, and we'll put this in the chat as well. The work we do is possible thanks to critical community partners, hundreds of students, survivors, and volunteers that keep going in the midst of a global pandemic, many of them working full-time with kids at home in virtual school. It is on their behalf that I accept this outstanding award. Thank you. Gracias.
You're up, David.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Yes. No.
Now we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Dave Atwood, and I'm here to present a local Peacemaker Award to Martina Grifaldo, who is the Executive Director of Alianza Latina International.
Thank you.
I think I met Martina.
Yes, you're muted in 2 spots.
Can you hear me now? All right.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I think I met Martina way back when the Justice for Janitors campaign was taking place, and Martina was involved in that. I was really inspired by the Latinas in that campaign. And also, so we participated in that together, and then also in many immigration marches and worked to develop justice for immigrants. And Martina was very involved in those activities. And then a few years ago, several years ago, I guess, she established an organization called Alianza Latina International. And this organization helps members of the Latina and Latino community to live well in this community in Houston area. It can involve immigration issues. It can involve school issues, legal issues, medical issues. It's very comprehensive in the work that it gets involved in. And so Martina has been the driving force behind that organization from the very beginning. And she has a tremendous amount of energy that she puts into this. And she's always been an inspiration to me and to the people around her. Now, there's a couple of programs that she's involved in that she started that have got held up somewhat because of the coronavirus. One is a program in schools in Houston to educate students on why they shouldn't use drugs. Of course, she's worked in anti-bullying efforts for a long time. And also she's working on a program that also got held up because of the coronavirus reuniting families. There are a lot of people in the immigrant community in Houston who have not seen their family members who lived down in Mexico for many years. And so she's working on that program. It got held up because of the coronavirus, but it'll come forward and it'll take place hopefully next year. So let me read the award. I think they here. Evan, have you got that there? I thought I had it right on my phone here.
Yeah, we have it.
You want me to read it?
No, I've got it. I've got it. I'm sorry. Okay, to Martina Grifaldo, for your brave, tireless, and unending activism, challenging systems that value profit over justice. For your determination to bring to fruition our inalienable birthright that promises equality and liberty for all. For your fight to establish a world that honors the declaration and promise of consent by the governed. And for your heroism, always leading with courage. The Houston Peace and Justice Center thanks and appreciates you, and we are honored to recognize you as a 2020 local peacemaker. So congratulations, Martina. And if I left out anything in my comments, just please add them to your comments. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really would like to be close to you, David, to give you a big hug. Hello, good afternoon to all. My name is Martina Grifaldo. First, I want to thank God to let me be here to all of you today. Thanks to Peace and Justice Center for this beautiful recognition. I'm pleased, honored, and humble to accept this Peacemaker Award and to join the past recipients who have a long admire and respect. A very special thanks to HPJC board for selecting me, and a big salute to all years of Peacemaker Award recipients, each of whom have made incredible contributions to the community of Houston, Texas, and the United States of America. Big thank you to those who dominate and support me. Big thank you to Mr. David Atwood, because without him, nothing on what Alianza Latina Internacional was possible. And of course, thank you to my family, my partner in crime, my children, and my extended family, friends, and community for always support me. To give you a little bit about my life and the activism, 11 years ago, I decided to join the human rights movement here in Houston, Texas, to help those in our community to fight for an immigration reform, to fight by protecting them, educating them, and organize them, our undocumented community and most vulnerable communities. As a founder and director of Alianza Latina Internacional, I have had the opportunity to get to know a wide range of local and state representatives and introduce ideas and plans to better assist our community in different ways. I am delighted to see all the accomplishment and change I have made for our people. I feel very satisfied to be the first person, along with Alianza Latina Internacional, to bring out to the shadows and shine the light on the case on PFC soldier Vanessa Guillen. But I know there is so much work still to do. I will continue to challenge, encourage, educate, and mobilize the people to make the changes with the desperate need for our communities. ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. Yes, we can. Thank you. I feel very, very honored to receive this Peacemaker.
Thank you so much. We're not on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna Peace Camp video.
Yes. Okay, great. So next up, it wouldn't be an HPJC event if we didn't have anything about Peace Camp. I also want to say before we go on, thank you so much to Carrie, Martina, and Deanna, our local peacemakers. I want to say thank you again. So this summer we were really heartbroken when we had to cancel the beloved Peace Camp. I know the people working behind it, they're working behind the scenes really hard to make next year bigger and more exciting than ever. In the meantime, we're going to share with you this video. All right. How amazing was that? Whew. Okay, so now it's my time to speak. And I'm not going to mince words here. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year and a tough, trying year for all of us. I know personally, I lost friends. I failed classes in school. I've cried so much, more than any other year that I could remember. I've been unable to visit my family. And in writing this, I was reminded of something that my bass teacher used to say. He used to say, when it rains, it pours. And dang it, it really poured this year. It was also a tough year for HPJC. Normally, we attend as many events as possible. And this year, there were hardly any events. And the events that were events that were focused around injustice. Our meetings were moved to Zoom meetings, so they were all held virtually. And we had to cancel our beloved Peace Camp. So it rained, it poured. But some good came out too. We didn't quite turn Texas blue, but we gave them quite the scare. And the election, I don't think I even need to go there. So hallelujah. So the rain ends eventually, and we're really looking forward to 2021. And we're looking forward to you being there with us, because HPJC is only as strong as the sum of its parts. We have a new volunteer coordinator, Elise Thomas. She's been texting me since the beginning of the program, letting me know everything going wrong. But luckily she hasn't texted me in a few minutes. But at the beginning of the year, she took over as a volunteer coordinator, and she also helped us update our mission statement. And basically, we want you to be part of us. And there is so much flexibility to what that looks like. We want to encourage people to be leaders. We want to encourage people and support their endeavors. We can say 2020 was the year of the meeting, but let's make 2021 the year of activity. Become a member, reach out to us, and tell us how you want to become involved and what you can do, and we will support you. You are important to us, because without you, there is no us. So please become a member. That's great. But if you can go beyond that, volunteer, do what you can. We will accept anything that you're able to do. So that's my spiel right there. You know our website, hpjc.org. Connect with us, stay connected with us. Let this be a big, wonderful family, a family that gets along sometimes, a family that argues sometimes, but we stick together, and we do have a common goal here in Houston. So with that, I'm going to pass the baton on to back to our president, Jeff Reese. Hold on, all right, here's Jeff, you're up.
Okay, right now I am unmuted. Y'all can hear me, right?
We can hear you.
All right, all right. I have not had the pleasure of meeting Shannon yet, but I have the distinct honor of introducing her. And I'm going to read this just so you'll know a little background. Hopefully I'm not stealing any of her thunder, but it said, Shannon Watts is a mother of 5 who, prior to founding Moms Demand Action, was a stay-at-home mom and former communications executive. The day after Sandy Hook tragedy, Shannon started a Facebook group with a message that all Americans can and should do more to reduce gun violence. The online conversation turned into a grassroots movement of Americans fighting for public safety measures that people protect from gun violence. Moms Demand Action has established a chapter in every state of the country and is part of Every Town for Gun Safety, the largest gun violence prevention organization in the country, with nearly 6 million supporters. In addition to her work with Moms Demand Action, Watts is an active board member of Emerge America, one of the nation's leading organizations for recruiting and training women to run for office. And so with that, I've got her plaque, and I'm going to read it off this so I don't have to. I mean, I guess I can't be beat. I will do it I don't know if you can see this. Oh, that's what you get for doing a funny background, but you can't really see it anyway. So anyway, I will make sure it gets mailed to her in person, but this is what we wrote. It says, Mom's, let's see now, hang on, I'm about to get ahead of myself. Now, here we go. It says, Shannon Watts, for your mother's heart, able to share at the deepest level, for having the insight to see the power of all mothers' loves and the vision of the collective impact that it can have on our society. For making children our first priority against gun violence and always understanding that each volunteer is invaluable to the grassroots effort to effect change. For recognizing that gun violence is a major threat to our future peace and justice, and for the capacity to use your communication skills to build the largest gun violence resistance organization in the country. Houston Peace and Justice Center is honored to name you 2020 National Peacemaker. And so with that, I will turn it over to Shannon if I can.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate your warm introduction. I'm so incredibly honored to be recognized with this award by the Houston Peace and Justice Center. It is certainly my honor to accept this award, but honestly, the National Peacemaker Award belongs to all of us, the thousands of women, men, students, and gun violence survivors who have truly dedicated their lives to this fight. And really, it's only by working together, that we have been able to weaken the gun lobby, to usher in a new era of gun sense leaders in Congress and the Senate, and to elect the strongest gun safety ticket in American history to the White House. We know that in President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, we truly have gun sense champions who will act to keep our families safe. And we also have a restored spirit of service back in the White House after 4 years of Donald Trump's selfishness and corruption. And this historic moment is possible because of the work of tireless, fierce, and committed gun violence prevention advocates, including Moms Demand Action and Students Demand Action volunteers all across the country. I really want to highlight the incredible work of our Texas Moms Demand Action volunteers. They made nearly 170,000 calls this election cycle, which is unbelievable. And I want to congratulate the Houston volunteers for this award today. Your work to get Texans to the polls and to make your state safer has truly changed minds and saved lives. And you should all be incredibly proud. I'd also like to congratulate Meals on Wheels Houston and the amazing Martina Grifaldo for your incredible work in the community. And it's truly an honor to share this virtual stage with all of you. I also want to take a moment to recognize any survivors of gun violence who are joining us today. Sadly, we are a nation of survivors. About 58% of Americans or someone they care for has experienced gun violence in their lifetimes. Over the past 8 years, I have been truly humbled to work side by side with these survivors who turn their grief into action. They wake up every single day ready to protect our families and your families. They are truly the North Star of the gun violence prevention movement. And for all of you who are survivors, it is truly my privilege to stand with you. To receive an award for working toward peace in 2020 is just such an immense honor. There's really no higher calling than working on nonviolence. As we all know, this has not been an easy year for peace. It certainly has not been an easy year for the volunteers across the country, like all of you who are working to fight against that violence. We are living through an unprecedented coronavirus pandemic. We also have this long-standing gun violence crisis. And this year, we saw the beginning of really what's been long overdue reckoning when it comes to justice and equity for Black and Brown communities. And we saw hundreds of thousands of Americans take to the streets and demand justice and to fight police violence. Our movement has been proud to stand alongside this movement because police violence is gun violence, and it is way past time that we address it. I want to recognize the work that you all have done in this space, the Houston Peace and Justice Center stood with the family of Nicholas Chavez to demand justice after he was shot more than 20 times by the Houston Police Department when he was in the middle of a mental health crisis. You also worked with a Greater Houston Coalition for Justice to pass crucial criminal justice reforms, including ending the use of no-knock warrants for narcotics cases and requiring SWAT teams to wear body cameras. After you urged the Houston Police Department to adopt these life-saving reforms, the Harris County Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies across the state put similar measures in place. And these efforts were powered by volunteers who fight for justice and peace, all while juggling full-time jobs and family responsibilities. We know advocates and volunteers are behind virtually every major social justice movement in our nation's history. Volunteers are the backbone of Moms Demand Action, and we now have chapters in every single state of the country and nearly 6 million supporters across the country. In fact, we are bigger than the NRA. Volunteers are moved by a really deep desire to serve. Also, we're fueled by coffee and optimism. We show up and put in long hours, we roll up our sleeves, and we do what I often refer to as the unglamorous heavy lifting of grassroots activism. And it's what makes our democracy stronger. And volunteers can't be fired, even when we speak truth to power. The day I started Moms Demand Action, it was the day after the Sandy Hook school shooting back in December of 2012. I remember it very clearly. I was sitting in my kitchen and I created a Facebook page that essentially became this organization. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom who had taken a break from a corporate career to be there for my kids when they needed me the most, which, as we all know, is usually middle school. And I didn't have any experience as an activist. But ultimately, what I was lacking in organizing skills and digital savvy, I made up for in righteous anger. I was so tired of watching pundits and politicians say, there's nothing that can be done to prevent the next shooting tragedy. And even though I only had a few dozen Facebook friends, I was determined to wrest control of our democracy from the gun lobby and their cronies in any way I possibly could. And so in my case, I chose moms as my allies because I knew no one was as committed to making the future safer and more fair than people who would voluntarily give up precious free time to work for change. And I was inspired by the words of a great fighter for peace, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who said, do your little bit of good where you are. And it's those little bits of good that together will overwhelm the world. And over the past 8 years, those little bits of good that we have done have helped flip state legislatures to gun sense majorities, have helped pass life-saving legislation in red, blue, and purple states, and has helped make gun violence prevention a marquee issue that politicians are finally running on and winning on. And we've also created a sea change when it comes to how businesses and corporations and communities and even schools view gun safety. And we've tried to build a big tent that includes everyone, Republicans, Democrats, gun owners, students, survivors, communities of color, mothers, and others. And together, we have become the largest grassroots movement in the country, and we've taken on the gun lobby's deadly agenda at every level, and we are winning. Along the way, I've obviously learned so many valuable lessons. One of the most important is that when you are building a movement, the most important thing you can do is just jump in. Don't wait until you know everything there is to know. If I waited until I knew everything there was to know about gun violence or the legislative process or even organizing, I still wouldn't have started Moms Demand Action. And when you are a type A personality, which I happen to be, you know that at the heart of your perfectionism is really a fear of failing. So another valuable lesson I learned was don't talk yourself out of leading. The reality is you are qualified, and the issues that matter in this world will not wait for you to be 100% ready. I also learned right off the bat that you have to find motivation in your losses, or as we call it now in our organization, losing forward. I can remember just weeks after the Sandy Hook school shooting, I was with President Obama in Washington, D.C., and he was urging the Senate to pass a bill that would require background checks on all gun sales. And we thought, okay, this will be easy. Certainly Congress will act after 20 children and 6 educators were killed inside an elementary school. Naively, I thought, okay, we'll get this done and go back to our regular lives. And we went to the White House, we lobbied our members of Congress, we demanded a vote on background checks. And then what happened was that in April of 2013, we got our vote and it failed. It failed by just 6 votes. And we were shocked, we were devastated. But even through our frustration, we saw a path forward. We knew that if we couldn't get through the front door, we would have to go through windows. And we also realized that, frankly, Congress is not where this work begins, it's where it ends. And so we turned our attention to passing gun safety bills in state houses and started racking up wins, whether it was offense or defense. We actually have a 90% track record of stopping bad gun lobby bills year after year for the last 5 years. That includes dangerous bills like Stand Your Ground, guns on college campuses, permitless carry. And certainly we've changed the conversation about this issue, including in Texas, where on the first day of pre-filing bills ahead of the legislative session, instead of seeing permitless carry bills, we saw background checks bills. We saw extreme risk protection bills. We saw secure storage bills, and a lot of common sense pieces of gun safety legislation. And so we really honed our activist skills into a winning formula. And then we applied that to electoral cycles and to legislative sessions, the 2018 midterms, the 2019 Virginia legislative elections, and finally, the 2020 elections. And along the way, we became a boot camp for volunteers who decided they wanted to move from not just shaping policy, but to actually making it. And this year alone, over 100 of our volunteers ran for office. 41 of them have won so far. We also have given out 3,000 Gun Sense candidate distinctions, and 60% of the candidates who received those distinctions won during the general election. So all of this is to say that gun violence prevention has moved from a third rail political issue to one that is right up there in importance with the economy and the coronavirus crisis. And it helped us win in 2020. And so that's really the message I hope all of you will take home with you today. We are winning. Despite what you hear, despite all odds, we are winning. The days of lawmakers quietly passing NRA-friendly bills are gone. As our movement has grown stronger, the NRA has grown weaker. And as you all, I'm sure, know, they are racked by political and financial scandals. And our volunteers successfully transformed the 2020 election into a referendum on Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and ultimately their failure to keep our families safe. And we're not done. We are working hard to flip Georgia's 2 Senate seats in the runoff election in January so that we have a gun sense majority in the Senate. As the volunteers of Houston Peace and Justice Center know, so much of this work is about just showing up day after day after day. It is a lot of early mornings, late nights, weekends, getting the word out door to door, even in grocery store parking lots. It is a life of endless legislative hearings, letter writing campaigns, phone banking. It's wearing out the soles of our shoes and our phone batteries ahead of a crucial vote. And it's a lot of bitter defeats and incremental wins. But above all, volunteer activism is about doubling down for a marathon. This is not a sprint. We know that rather than wringing our hands with powerlessness, we will act in the face of our country's crises. And that's, at the end of the day, the energy that spurs me forward. What I have learned in the last 8 years is that if you bet on anyone, bet on volunteers. Bet on the people willing to sacrifice their time and to dedicate their talents to making this country safer. Bet on the people who are out there every single day doing the hard yards. I am so grateful and humbled, honestly, to join so many impressive recipients of this National Peacemaker Award. And most of all, this is energizing me to even fight harder in 2021 with the strongest gun sense president in our nation's history. I'm really excited to see what executive actions President-elect Biden takes, even just in the first 100 days of his days in office. So Our victories are giving us momentum to keep going, to keep volunteering, to keep pushing forward, to keep fighting. We know it's working. We know it matters. And ultimately, we know now that we can change the world. So thank you for this honor. I promise to take it out into the world with me, even if that's virtually, and to continue fighting like a mother for peace. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so very much. It is my pleasure to have you with us, and your inspiring words will go with us for the rest of this year. And we're so grateful to get to see you, even though it's not in person. We would love to have had you at a lovely dinner and had people be able to give you handshakes and hugs that really are the part of things that I know Houston Peace and Justice Center members are missing the most right now. We would all much rather be in a banquet room, giving each other our hugs and handshakes and greeting each other, seeing each other probably only once a year, as some of us do. But it is just inspiring to have you and to have our local peacemakers. All of you are so inspiring, and I am so grateful. And I have to say a huge thank you to Jeff Reese and Evan Silverman with HPJC. Without them, this wouldn't have happened. And a particularly big thanks to Ken and Ascendant Entertainment, because it's in his studio that Evan and I are sitting right now, and he has probably kept me from having a heart attack here, because this virtual stuff isn't exactly my thing. But it is, again, my pleasure to have all of you here, and to say thank you for taking the time out this afternoon to join us. This is an unusual year, and as you leave this Zoom, I hope for those of you who need to renew your membership, you'll do that. For those of you who want to join, we hope you'll do that. But most of all, I want to echo Shannon's comments about volunteering being the backbone of making the change. And we can't be the change that we want if we don't participate. And so at whatever level you can, please participate. And again, thank you for coming. I want you to stay safe, wear your masks, wash your hands, and if it's possible, amp up your game this year and volunteer somewhere with Shannon, with Martina, with certainly with us. Again, thank you. And it's time to say goodbye. Oh, wait, we have a video. Oh my goodness, I jumped right in there before the video. We still have time.
2-minute video.
2-minute video. And yes, and Jeff put this together, so we have to see this. Oh no, Kenneth put this together.
David
I'm sorry.
Atwood, chair of our human rights work area, worked with our 2020 local peacemaker, Martina Grifaldo, to assist the family of Vanessa Guillaume in her disappearance and subsequent murder at Fort Hood. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we were unable to have Peace Camp this year, but we look forward to the time when both Peace Club and Peace Camp can continue as it has for the last decade. We have been in contact with Dr. William Barber and the Poor People's Campaign and Paul Chappelle and his Peace Literacy Project, and will be supporting both of them in 2021. There is a list of many more accomplishments and activities on our website at hpjc.org. But none of these can continue without your support. If you are not a member, please join today. And if you are, please renew your membership through the membership button on our website. We have many levels of membership, from our gold member at $1,000 a year to sustaining members at only $3 or $5 a month. Your membership makes HPJC possible. And I would like to remind you that we are watching this on Zoom today because we cannot safely hold our annual Peacemaker Awards dinner and fundraiser. This is the only fundraiser we will have this year, so your donation today is especially important. Please be as generous as possible. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, thank you.
We can all wave.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in 2021.
Oh, it's Cherry. Yay.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and be safe.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Merry
Be
Christmas.
blessed.
Eric, everybody. Hey, Markia.
Hey, Jeff.
Thank you all.
How are you?
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you for everyone that put on a very slick presentation. All I can do is press the Zoom button, so I'm very.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Hi,
I mean, you want them to see you?
Yeah, I like your wall art.
Hey, Joanna.
Background.
Yes. Thank you, Erica, our new treasurer.
Yes.
While people are on.
Bye.
Erica's
Awesome.
Thank you, Erica.
Bye, Erica.
Bye, Erica.
Hey, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Bye.
Bill and Cheryl.
Thanks, everybody. Great program.
Thank you.
Nice work, Ken.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good job, Jeff.
Devin. Thanks, Constance. Thank you, Aileen.
Bye,
Hey,
Miss
bye-bye.
Thank you, Judy.
All
No
right.
more, no more.
Love everybody.
We're down to 20 people.
Bye.
Easy.
Cameras on.
Look.